How's everybody doing? This is Blue. I hope everybody's having a great day. I know it's been a week or two that I haven't made a video and been traveling for work. Like I said in my last video, I'm overseas. As you can tell, I'm in my room and wanted to share some things because, it's about that time. Today's topic is pretty much our flaws. I'm not painting today. Sorry, I'm not painting today. I don't have my painting stuff. I'm here for work. So next video though, I would definitely be painting, or who knows, I might be cooking. Never know. Depends what niche I feel like dealing with. So anyways, just so you guys know, I'm not a professional counselor, therapist, or anything like that. This is just all based off my life experience, all the things I've read, all the things I've gone through. Some stuff may fit for some people, some stuff may not. So this is just my experience, so people can look at it, maybe self-evaluate themselves, and who knows, this might touch one or two people, and that's all that matters to me. Trying to improve our way of thinking and trying to improve our way of life in a sense. So today I wanted to talk about our flaws. At the end of the day, every person has a little bit of being a narcissist. We think a lot highly about ourselves. We have egos. We have everything has to revolve around us. People may say, no, I always think about other people, but in reality, are you thinking about those people because it makes you feel good? Those are questions you need to ask yourself. So key points that I always talk about, and I'm always going to be talking about, is about our values. I showed last week or last video how our values can determine who we are, and you can figure out who are you as a person. So these flaws was based out me when I showed you guys the board with my five top values, meaning that's not the only thing I value, but those are my top ones right now, and then it can change because things in our life always change. So being committed, caring, mental health, bettering myself, and crap, I forgot the other one. Oh, friendship. And so those are my 5 values right now. And later on, who knows, somebody in my life can change those things, or something in my experience can change one of them, or maybe I start realizing that one is not that important. Those are things that we got to do constantly, I believe. Just know that everything I say here is just based off things I go through and things that I've been through. And based off those values that I've been talking about, I started looking at what are my flaws, what makes me essentially, because these flaws still make who you are. There's nothing, we're human, we're all gonna have flaws, we all have issues. Is just accepting those flaws and try to fix them. And if not, sometimes you're gonna fail. These are flaws. This is something that's been embedded since you were a little kid. I see a therapist and I listen to them and how they speak, and they say everything is based off your childhood. A lot of I don't want to say I'm insecure, but I am insecure, if that makes sense. A lot of it is because when I was a child, my father, my mother were together. I had all this love from the family and all those things, and all of a sudden at a certain age, it was all taken away, meaning my father left my life. He was around, but it wasn't around. Then all of a sudden, lost one of my best friends of childhood because of some bad stuff. Got that taken away. My first high school girlfriend, I was with her for 2 years, but then again, we broke up, she left me. So if you see this pattern, people that I get close to or people that I love, they tend to leave me. So I become very insecure when I feel a little sense of them leaving. And that's what I think one of my flaws, I know is one of my flaws. Even in my last relationship, I felt insecure because I was really nervous about losing this person. And when I didn't feel specific need a feeling, a panic, and I would act certain ways, and it's just, that's something that I saw within me. So I'm gonna go down my flaws and talk a little bit about them, so you guys can understand that it's okay. Nobody's perfect, and determining who we are based off our values. I was able to determine a lot of this, and then my last relationship, my marriage, when I was married, losing friends, situations, people dying in my life. Those things change people in the way you think. I used to say, and why hope? Like, what's the purpose of hope? Well, hope is what really drives us to be better. If we don't have that hope, a lot of people become depressed, so they try to find something to have hope on. And this is stuff I've read, and just recently I finished reading one of, not finished, I didn't really read it all. I couldn't really get into it, but there was key points about it. In fact, let me pull it out. Key points about it. It's called Everything is Fucked. This was by Mark Manson, and he wrote the subtle art of not giving a fuck. And so I started reading this one, and it talks about how we're always looking for hope. Find something that gives us hope, because that's what drives us. That's what pushes us. Now, do I think that's true? Do I think I'm not? I can't argue, because I don't know. I just know what drives me is helping people. I hope that I can help people. I noticed that my calling, most people understand that my calling is really helping people with issues. I can't help myself. You know how it is. You try to give advice you give amazing advice to everybody, but when it comes to yourself, you can't follow those advice, and that's the way of life. It kind of sucks, but at the end of the day, you can see better outside. It's harder to see inside. So when you start self-evaluating ourselves, not just the good, what are you good at? That's great, but what are you not good at either? And it's good to know that, because why put yourself in a situation knowing that you're not good at that? Or using a relationship, for example, why knowing that you cannot provide all that love, you can't provide love, or you can't provide finance, or you can't provide caring? Why would you sell that dream to somebody, or put that as try to be something that you're truly not? Is one of your flaws. And I'm not saying you can't work on it, because I'm working on mine, and I have a list, and I got it right in front of me, and I'm gonna read it to you guys and talk about it. So don't feel embarrassed, don't feel shame. Go ahead and make your list, and don't try to hide, like, this is my only flaws. No, dig in, start asking those hard questions to yourself, because if you don't, you're not finding the key things that make you sad, make you happy. Like, those are things that you have to dig in and actually self-analyze yourself. And I think this is one way that I did it. It was based off my values, and that I currently have right now. And like I said, my top 5 values was friendship, commitment, caring, being a father, and mental health. So, and I'm gonna go down in this lane, and you'll see how it all ties together. So one of my flaws is overthinking. Now, overthinking can be a good thing, and it can be a bad thing. So if you're in a bad situation, you start over analyzing everything. Like, if I do this would happen. If I use these words, if I use this in a relationship. I use relationship example because we all know what a relationship is. You break up, or you're together, but then all of a sudden, like, is she, what's taking her so long to text me? She could have texted me right now. I know she's at work, but is she talking to somebody? Like, those are things that can harm you. Now, overthinking, you can use that as a when you're working or something, you overthink the process because you want to think. And like my line of work, I overthink because I need to make sure like plan A is working, there's a plan B, plan C, and if all those failed, what am I going to do next? I got to make decisions. It impacts a whole lot of things. So that one is kind of a two-sided, good thing and bad thing. But right now we're talking about flaws. So overthinking actually has made me get very anxious. I've gone through anxiety with it from my last relationship. I still wanna. In my mind, I was like, man, I love her. How can she how can she not be here with me? And I start thinking all these crazy things and I know it's gonna start creepy, but start like, how can I get her attention? If she's not calling me, who's she talking to? Like this and this and that, and I start overthinking, and you start overanalyzing to a point where I had anxiety, and I started getting very anxious and would throw up. That's how bad it would get, and that's because of my overthinking, which I should have just sat home and just talk to myself and breathe and go through the process of trying to figure out what is the real problem, because sometimes we use the little problems to hide the true big problem, and overthinking hides the key problem. Just as I'm just throwing this as an example, like just say if you have a partner, you guys are fighting over a piece of brownie, but the real problem was that the wife or the partner, you didn't help her to do the dishes, so she's upset because she's been working and taking care of all the kids, but because of you ate the last brownie, that was a trigger, but it's not really the true problem. So when you start overthinking, you start adding more to the problem, to the big problem, because you don't want to talk about it, but you keep adding and adding. So you start overthinking this, and by the time you figure out what the true problem is, has escalated to a certain extent. Patience. Patience is one of my problems, my flaws. A lot of times, and when I want something, I'm gonna get it. And I've learned that you can only control you. You can only control what you can. You can't control everything. I can't control you. You can't control me. My actions, you cannot control. And that's why in a lot of relationships, and I know I keep going to relationships because, I'm talking about not just boyfriend, girlfriend. I'm not talking about just couples. I'm talking about friendship, family relationships, those kind of relationship, because it's easier. That's kind of what I've been affected by. That's what everybody's been affected by. So patience is one of those things where if I want to solve a problem, I want to solve it now. Let's get it done and over with. I need you to do this for me, and I do this for you, and that's it. Well, it doesn't work like that. I mean, like when you're trying to solve a problem within a friend or a boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever relationship you have, you try to dictate what that other person does. So your patience gets even, you just lose patience because you want them to do it right now. And that's one of the things that I learned, that some people need to take things and soak it in, and it might need a few minutes, a couple days to actually understand like what just happened. Not everybody is the same, and that's one thing that people, myself, learn, and we need to understand those things. So another one of my flaws, which I have here, is expecting people to know what I'm thinking or expecting. What I mean about that is, if I tell you that shirt doesn't fit you, or that shirt is wrong, in my mind, I'm expecting you to go change it. Well, you don't go change it. You just push it down a little more. Or so then I get upset because I didn't really tell you exactly what I wanted. I kind of just said like that the shirt is a certain color, whatever. In my mind, I expected you to change it. But in reality, I didn't tell you that. I just said the shirt was messed up. But then I get upset because you didn't do what I was thinking. Or so that's I hope that makes sense. Expectations, I guess. Like if I say, hey, I need you to give me a hug. Well, I'm expecting a hug like every 5 minutes or every minute type thing. I'm just exaggerating, so don't think I'm crazy like that. But that's what I'm expecting. But in your mind, and you're taking it as like, okay, if I give him a hug later or going before to sleep is more special for him, then all these things, I'll get mad because I was expecting one thing instead of sharing what I'm thinking and discuss about those things. So that's a big flaw that I think I've been having for a very long time, and I think sometimes that has ruined some connections. I think when my son was young, my son is an amazing kid. He would always try to appease me. He wanted what's the word I'm looking for? He wanted my approval. And he would do things and he thinks he's doing them correctly the way I want him. But in my head, I was expecting. So I think I put that on him. And as a father, it hurts because the more I think about that, it really affects me because it affected him. Because now it's to a point where he doesn't want to do wrong and he's scared, and that was on me. And sorry, I'm getting a little emotional about that, but that was on me. I put that fear, that worry in him because of my ignorance to my problem. And that's something that affected him, and I can see it. He's 13 years old now. And sorry, it's just kind of one of those things that touches me because, hey, being a father is something I value, so it hurts me knowing that I hurt my son in some way, somehow. I'm going to pass that one because I'm good enough with that one. Another flaw that I've realized, I let my emotions control me. And I'm not talking about all the time. I'm talking more like in a relationship aspect. If something isn't going right, I'm going to let my emotions control me. Now, a good question is, can you control your emotions? In that book that I read, they said there's two parts. Technically, you have two brains, according to the books. One is the thinking brain and one is the emotion brain. Emotion brain will always trump the thinking brain. The thinking brain is more the logical thinking. This makes sense. This makes sense. Emotion is like based off your internal feelings and how you have dealt with that in your past, how things have triggered you. So and if you notice, a lot of people let their emotions take over and they'll harm somebody, or they'll kill somebody, or they'll go and say the wrong things to somebody, and because they let those emotions control them. Another one. This one is one of those ones that is a good thing and then isn't a bad thing. Very persistent. I think I am very persistent when I want something. When I really want something, I become so persistent that I think I become annoying, and I think I become very irritable. Like, nobody wants to deal with somebody like that. That's constantly going and 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 going about the same thing. Well, I'm trying to prove to you, no. Sometimes, like I said earlier, you gotta let people process things. And in that aspect, that's a flaw, my persistence. Letting things go, something that I need to work on. And I think it's because I care, And I think it's hard for me to let go of things because I want to solve them. I'm a person that wants to fix a problem. I'm a person that I think one of my needs my needs is to help people. So if I can't help myself, that's even worse, you know? So those are one of my problems. And then stubborn. I'm sure everybody's very familiar with being stubborn. Stubborn is actually not a good thing. I've been stubborn since I was a little kid. If you look at my brother, my sister, myself, we're kind of broken down. Like, my brother is the most stubborn one out of all of us. I think my sister is probably second, and then I'm third. I think my sister and I can flop, but nobody beats my brother when it comes to stubbornness. And my son has some of his characteristics when it comes to that. So, yeah, stubborn is more of a pride thing, I think, an ego thing. I said earlier, we're all somehow a little bit narcissist. You can argue, you can go in down in the comments and tell me why you don't think not everybody's narcissist, and tell me, I'll chat right back with you. So stubborn is one of those flaws that I need to work on myself, and I think I'm doing okay. Relationship wise, no, because I want to be right, or it tends to be more of a tit for tat for me. You do something to me, I'm going to be stubborn, and I'm going to consistently keep going until I prove my point. And if it means hurting you, well, I'm going to hurt you, but I want to see that you hurt. Like, that's kind of shit that's horrible for me. Like, that's not a way to be. I'm not bad. I take that back. I'm working on that. So, last, I got one more, but before I go through that one, please take your time and watch the video, subscribe, push that like, leave some comments, give me some suggestions or anything. If you guys need advice or help, like I said, I'm not a professional, but I will give you what I can and what I feel in the situation from what I've learned and what I've been through. I would offer that to you. One of my biggest issues is I become very anxious, and that has to do with losing important people in my life, or important people walking away. When that happens, I become very anxious to the point where, I start overthinking, and my patience. This is kind of like what I say with the values before, and I think this is one of my biggest problems, being anxious because I lose someone. So I become so anxious. Start overthinking. So my heart starts beating. My chest is going crazy. Sometimes I want to throw up, start coughing. My patience, because while I'm anxious, I want something done to help me relieve this. I need that person, or I need that situation to be there in that moment to help me. So I get impatient, expecting people. In my mind, I'm expecting you to call me right now, like, without me calling you, and this and that. And then going down the line, I let my emotion control my. So anything you might say something to me to a point where this small, I'm going to take it and I'm going to triple whatever. I'm going to amplify that situation. And then my heart just starts even beating more. From my last relationship, I still love this woman and everything. And I started drinking a lot. I started drinking every day. I was drinking half a bottle probably. Every other day I was drinking half a bottle. I consumed myself with painting. I wasn't eating, and I was very anxious. All I did was think about her constantly, and that's one thing that is one of the hardest out of all of them. I think that is probably the hardest one for me to work on. And taking baby steps, I recognize it, and that right there is something that I deal with, and I'm dealing with right now. I have to understand that not everybody's the same. We all grew up differently. We all went through different parts of life. So, but yeah, so those are my flaws that I'm working right now. How am I working on them? Just trying to base them off my values, reading, and try to, when a situation comes and I'm about to go through this thing, stop, breathe, and think about it. I talk to a lot of my friends, communicate. I got great friends and family. Hit them up when I feel anxious, or hit them up when I'm overthinking, or hit them up when I'm too persistent. I need somebody to smack me up and tell me stop, So find somebody to lean on. Find something that teaches you how to deal with your flaws. So if you get the chance, just make a list. Go down, think about it. Don't let your pride get in the way. Just think about it. And I think you'll be all right. And well, I'm gonna end my video here. In the next one, I should be painting, and I'll show that. And then hopefully by a week from today, I'll work on another video. God bless you guys, and I hope you enjoy this video. Please subscribe, like, leave a comment, and God bless and love you all.